Greetings, fellow Earthlings. You are now tuned in to Shamanic Awakening. If this is your first time, allow me to introduce myself.
Yup. Hello, baby girl.
The name is Chief Mokiwish, and I will be your companion, your shaman, your guide as we channel the divine. Today's reading is going to be about self-worth. I hope you all are doing mighty fine. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all the likes, views, comments. I really do appreciate y'all. All right, let's just go ahead and do this. Start off with some oracle cards as usual. Past life. And then we got air at the bottom. So we're starting off with the past life. Okay. Let's see what we get from the Mayan oracle. Shadow. Mystical power at the bottom, the number 7. Oh, wait, I knew something was missing. There we go. Yo, we just keep getting the same cards. It's pretty trippy. Jeweled web connectivity. It's pretty trippy, but at the same time, it makes total sense because this is collective energy, right? It's not gonna like drastically change from one day to the next. Lost in space, needing direction. All right, so look. So off tops from the oracle cards, I feel like there's something to do with obviously the past life, a past life of yours. And all right, so this is for everybody and nobody at all. So just take what resonates. It could be little pieces here and there. I'm doing this for entertainment purposes, so just have a good time. Yeah, there's definitely something to do with the past life, and I only do past life readings like personally. You know what I mean? I don't feel like that's something that you do collectively because it's so unique to everyone, and basically you're accessing the Akashic records when you start looking into past lives like that. So I respect it a lot. So if anybody feels guided to get yourself a personal reading, right there, that's where you go, my friend. And I do offer past life readings, but they're a little bit more for more advanced spiritual seekers. But yeah. So let's go ahead and get started here. How I see myself. How do I see myself? So yeah, the connectivity, the shadow, this is all how we're all connected to one another, right? But there's specifically something to do with a past life that's possibly influencing how we see ourselves. So how do I see myself? We got the Knight of Wands. So you could see yourself as somebody who is ready to take action, like ready to get in there and make stuff happen. You know what I mean? This is like creative action. So it's like you are not creative, but inspired action. We got the 6 of Swords. Yeah, you like moving. You like to stay moving. You like to be active, whether that's physically or mentally. You probably got a really great imagination. The Ace of Wands, yeah. You see yourself as somebody who can solve problems. Maybe you see yourself as a good problem solver. So how do I speak to myself? That is very important. It's like so important to speak to yourself with kindness and grace. How do I speak to myself? Oof, the Nine of Swords. This could be like a lot of anxieties. You might worry a lot. I mean, we all worry, right? But like, it's almost like you kind of obsess over the things that you don't want to happen. Let's get another card on this. How do I speak to myself? And this could be internally. So worrying is like praying for the outcome that you don't want to happen, y'all. Whenever I get a worry, I acknowledge it. I try to find out where it's coming from, and then I just let it go. The Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so these are two very opposite sides of the spectrum here.
¿Qué?
So that means that like you could hype yourself up really easily, but at the same time, like I think deep down inside, you have like a deeply rooted anxiety about something. And the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, see, so this is like both. Yeah, so you could probably be super like over analytical, and then at the same time be like your own hype man when you speak to yourself. It's like two different sides of the spectrum. If we could just eliminate the negative self-talk or the worry talk, chatter in your mind, that would be ideal. How I can remind myself that I am worthy. The Five of Cups. The stars at the bottom. I can remind myself that I am worthy. Taking a look at the big picture, the grand scheme of things. And maybe not viewing losses as complete losses, because there's got to be something to gain from it. There's got to be some wisdom to learn. But let's get another card. What is this Five of Cups about? How can I remind myself that I'm worthy? Yeah, I feel like you've had to walk away from things to get the Death card. Yeah, you've had to deal with some difficult endings, I feel like, and it can be hard. It can be difficult to see the blessings in disguise or read between the lines, you know? But there's always a silver lining, my friends. With death comes renewal. If you step back and take a look at the grand scheme of things, you'll see that there's beauty in death. Can I get one more card here on how I can remind myself of my self-worth? The Five of Swords? Wow. This is definitely about letting things end when they ran their course, and kind of like not beating yourself up about your mistakes, because though that would be your gain right there, the mistakes you make, because those are our greatest teachers, our mistakes. So maybe reframing a loss or reframing a ending can help remind ourselves of our worthy. How can I practice loving myself? The Six of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles at the bottom. So reminding practicing loving myself would have to do with being grateful, having gratitude for what you have, and realizing there's always somebody else that's going through something more difficult than you. But this is big gratitude energy right here, because once you realize how much you actually have and how much you can actually offer to someone who doesn't have as much, that makes you feel more valuable. And again, gratitude is where it all stems. Just being thankful for another day is a big step in the right direction. We got the King of Pentacles, exactly. You're probably way more abundant than you actually believe or think. And sometimes it takes somebody to make us take a step back to figure that out. Can I get the last card here for the how I can practice? Wow, loving myself. And then the Fool at the bottom. This is just like straight up like picking yourself back up and holding your own hand. If those of you that have a partner out there that you feel very connected to, like cherish that, y'all can get through it together too, But yeah, like even just a family member, somebody you can like reach out and be vulnerable with, and sharing your experiences too, because chances are there's somebody else out there that is going through something similar and could use, some external validation. So by loving others, you can actually learn to love yourself. But you gotta love yourself first. I'm saying not loving others, but like sharing with others, because we got that sharing card. Sharing your time with the people you care about, or just people that you feel need it, is how I can practice self-love. Or loving myself. Dude, we got the 3 of flipping swords right here on how I can admire my beauty. I see. So like I was saying, and then we got the Queen of Pentacles. Dang, we got the King and the Queen of Pentacles. That's dope. Yeah, some of y'all could have like a very supportive partner. Cherish that, my friend. That is gold right there. How I can admire my beauty. We got the 3 of Swords. This is like forgiving yourself for all the mistakes you made and realizing that it's better to have loved and lost than never loved at all, my friend. But can I get another card on this one? How can I admire my beauty? Yeah, this is about healing though. Wow, the 5 of Swords again. The 5 of Cups again, and the King of Wands at the bottom. I might have to pull another card from the thought deck. If this last final card doesn't clear it up. Can I get one more card here? The 8 of Cups, that's sad energy. And then the 10 of Wands at the bottom. How I can admire my beauty? Well, my friends, it is very beautiful that we can experience such joy and on the contrast, such pain. Remember we're talking about how you kind of go from one end of the spectrum to the other? Even your sadness is beautiful. Like that could be a part of your shadow that maybe you don't acknowledge or try to, repress. All in all, I see somebody here that sometimes, struggles with self-love and self-worth, but they know how much they're worth. I think that, and I get this too, you know what? I feel this energy big time because I don't seek external validation. You feel me? Like I know who I am. I don't need anybody to tell me who I am. But it is nice to hear nice things sometimes. You feel me? Like it's almost like a basic human, need to like be appreciated and feel like you're part of a team, of a group. I'm gonna get one more card from the thought deck to hopefully get a positive spin. I'm trying to put one on it as best as I can. But yeah, admiring your loss. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. We got the Wheel of Fortune to end it. Right, so you're actually very fortunate that you went through the losses you did because they actually forged your character. And we got the Magician at the bottom. That's beautiful. I'm glad I did that. But yeah, admiring your, I mean, not admiring, but appreciating your losses, because your losses were preparing you more for that bigger win. You feel me? On that note, my friends, I hope that was helpful in some way, shape, or form. If not now, in the future, remember to trust your intuition, y'all. Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. Namaste, stellar, you beautiful souls. Peace.